Welcome back to that hashtag show, Flobo Boyce, in the lab here with Mr. No Days Off himself, Mr. Fred Rosser. How's it going?
Mr. No Days Off is in the house and about 10 pounds heavier, carrying the Strong Openweight Championship. It's an honor to be on the show. I always say, don't die with a story and you tell it, and I've got a lot to say.
Oh man, I'm so glad you're here. It's still 2022. You still blocking hate out in these streets?
Blocking the hate. The movement's running wild in a city near you. It's going to be running wild at the Vermont Hollywood here in California. So making moves, trying to make $1 million moves.
Oh yeah, $1 million moves. Got shout out to the gear right there. HQ clothing available now. The Block the Hate line. I'm gonna myself a shirt on order. But let's get into it. New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong is going strong. No pun intended here in the United States. But every time I sit down with someone from the roster, they always say there's more work to be done. What's your perspective on that, champ?
Just given the opportunity to represent New Japan Strong has been an honor for me. Again, we still have a lot of work to do. I consider New Japan Strong like NXT. So at this point in my career, September 11th will be 20 years. I've been rocking and rolling. I want to be able to help elevate talent. I want to be able to work with some of the young lions, continue to work with some of the young lions. I still have a lot left in the tank. I got to steal that line from Mark Henry. I've got I always joke around and say I have another 11, 12 years left and it's time for retirement. But that's all me just joking and crying wolf. I'm going to go until the wheels fall off. And right
Yeah,
now, representing New Japan Strong, the sky's
yeah.
the limit. The sky's the limit for me.
I don't know if you remember this, but we met one time before. It was at Staples Center, the first night of the Fox SmackDown. It was a PA for the E at the time, and I was asking you, man, because back then I had only known you from the Darren Young era of your career, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, what's going on? You're like, man, I have more to give. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bet on myself. And I go, okay, yeah, everyone says that, but you're the champ. Like you did it, and there's more to be done. And I always like the fact about that. Hey, look, I'm hungry. I'm in New Japan. I'm still hitting that next step forward. It's pretty dope.
Every interview I've done since signing with New Japan over a year ago, I've always spoke about New Japan. I was always intimidated in the style, but I spoke it to people that would hold me accountable. And I just put my head down pretty much and went to work and tried to have some of the best matches possible. And when we talk about the different styles between like WWE and New Japan, everything I learned from WWE, I take to New Japan and help elevate them. So I've got to steal a line from Zack Ryder when he says WWE was a university that he graduated from. Now he
Mhm.
takes everything that he learned from WWE and utilizes it in everything he does. And I do the same thing.
Yeah, talk about top tier matches over the past 2-3 years. Your war with Tom Lawlor, we actually had him on the show earlier, has been one of the biggest feuds conflicts in professional wrestling. How does it feel to have we finally have that in the rearview mirror, or is it?
A lot of people don't like competition, but Tom Lawler was competition to me, and I love competition. I take it head on. I love when a some bitch is better than me because he's going to push me to improve. And Tom Lawler did just that. 20 years rock and rolling in this business. He's probably one of my top favorite matches. One of my biggest compliment from a wrestler was him when he
Mhm.
said that in a million years, he never thought that Darren Young, Fred Rosser, and himself would cross paths. But he said the minute that we touched, he knew it was going to be something magical. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't fancy, but it
Yeah.
got the results that we wanted, which was 2020 and 2021 Match of the Year for New Japan. And thousands of fans voted. And it's my biggest honor ever having been voted Match of the Year for New Japan Strong, and my biggest honor ever holding my first ever singles championship. Sometimes it takes people a year, 6 months. It took me 20 years to get my first singles championship. So it means the world to me. New Japan Strong is my home. I like to say that I am the heart and soul of New Japan Strong, the people's champion of New Japan Strong.
I was we have a mutual friend in the business, announcer, commentator Jack Farmer, works at other promotions and worked with you before. Always
Yes,
has nice things to say about you. But as a question, I always asked him to ask you, but now I get to ask you directly. And I go,
sure.
when you went on your own, you had an opportunity to have any other gimmick on the planet, but you said no. I'm doing the government name. I'm sure it worked out. I could tell on your shoulder. But what was that decision about? Was there a discussion you had with your team to do that, or was it kind of like, no, I have to go find out who I am as a wrestler?
I think when you Google me, you Google Fred Rosser, Darren Young pops up. When you Google Darren Young, Fred Rosser pops up. I wanted to stick with my government name because, legally, I don't think I would be able to use Darren Young. You know what I mean? So I think using my government name, getting people to know Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser, was a blessing. And it's something that I always say my fight is much more bigger than in the ring. It's outside of the ring, fighting bigotry and hatred and trying to be the voice of the voiceless when it comes to not only the LGBTQ community, but anyone that gets bullied into silence. So whether it's on the big screen or whether it's on social media, I want people to see me, Mr. No Days Off Fred Rosser, who might identify with me and say to themselves, well, if he can do it, so can I.
Yeah. Has the game changed? Has the world changed from your perspective since being that stepping into that role of being the voice of the voiceless?
It's changed a lot. When the Olympics were in Tokyo, Japan, and I was watching it with my family would always say to me, why am I always rooting for Japan, Japan, Japan? Well, Japan, New Japan Strong were the first to put me on the marquee before WWE. Again, I love WWE. I love all my experiences, but for them to put me on a marquee,
Yeah.
where am I? It means the world to me.
Yeah.
So this is plastered all over social media, all over billboards in towns that we're having shows. So it means the world to me that when people see New Japan Strong in their hometown, I'm one of the featured superstars.
If I go to Japan, what's the first thing I should do? Because I'm a baseball guy. I want to see the Swallows, but like everyone says, there's so much to do in Japan because the city is so large, or the country is so large. There's so many cities are just megalopolises. What's the first thing I do when I touch down?
Well, it's funny. I haven't been to Japan yet. I've been all over the world, blessed to travel the world with WWE.
Yeah.
Anytime WWE did a tour of Japan, I was always on a different tour or not on tour at all. So, still a dream come true, a bucket list that I need to accomplish is getting over to Japan. But
Yeah.
for the past couple of years, I've been representing here in the States and doing my thing.
Yeah. That's real cool to be like a talisman when it comes to that sort of thing. Um,
Yes, sir.
you are literally Mr. No Days Off, but you're not a machine, bro. Like, let me know, what does downtime look for Darren Young? Do you like train slowly? Like, do you read 2 books in a five? Like, what's going on?
No days off is just a lifestyle. First thing in the morning, you know, if you do anything, if you accomplish anything throughout the day, you make up your bed, make up your bed. That's living a no days off lifestyle, constant grind, struggle of life. I'm just not going to be just laying down doing nothing. I'm always active. Even on a day off from the gym, I'm doing some type of yoga, a walk, a hike. I'm always staying active. August 2017, when I moved out to LA full time, I stopped alcohol completely because it was controlling my life. It was ruining my life.
Mhm.
So I made the decision on my own to completely stop drinking when I moved out to LA, and I'm a lot more clear headed. Uh, I'll be 39 November 2nd. I look like I'm 29. Health is wealth, as I always say. So I'm a big uh, proponent of eating right, saying your prayers, and eating your vitamins and all that other good stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle that I live 24/7.
You got to help me out here because I'm 37 and I try to be healthy, but sometimes the skin don't really snap back like it did 10 years ago. I mean, you got any old man tips for a brother?
You gotta moisturize. You gotta, I tell all my friends who ask, man, how do you stay looking so youthful? You got to moisturize, number one. And you just got to take care of yourself, but also don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. I love my sweets. I love indulging in that, especially peanut butter. So like I said, I always say don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. I get my rest, I moisturize. I'm not perfect, no one's perfect. So I do have my ups and downs, but I always try to, as my old coach, my mentor would always say, Bob Backlund, PMA, positive mental. Wait, what would he say? PMO, positive mental outlook on life. So
Yeah.
I have to live by those words.
I dream to be so fit that I think peanut butter is a treat. That's a
Yeah,
goal I wish to have one of these days. Because I'm
you
team
know,
cake and burgers. That's what I'm all about.
yeah, well, you got to get your veggies too. You,
Yeah,
you got to stay, and that's another thing. Moisturize and get your veggies. So, yeah,
facts for life. You're also what I also love about you and your brand is you're an advocate for the mental side of things, mental health,
yes.
and I know I don't claim to understand your perspective. But what's that been like being able to stay present year in year out with the career, with blocking the hate, with everything?
Like I said earlier, I'm not perfect. We all have our ups and downs. Keeping that positive mental outlook on life is what's gotten me this far.
Hmm.
Um, I always say my fight is much more bigger than in the ring, so I'm fighting for more than just championships. My social media, I always say, is an open diary to the world. So anything I ever post always comes from the heart with the intent to inspire, motivate, and educate the masses that might look up to me for inspiration.
Yeah,
Just as The Rock, Tom Hanks, Matthew McConaughey, just as much as those individuals are inspiration to me on social media, I just know how much of an inspiration I am to people. So you'll hear people say, "Oh, I need a break from social media." For me, I can't take breaks. I can't take days off from social media because I know someone is counting on me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I
right.
am a friend. So when it comes to mental health, we all deal with it in different ways. You know what I mean? For me, if I don't get the gym, it's rare. I like to get my interviews done and out the way so I can get my day going. But first thing in the morning, I like to get the gym out the way because I like to use the analogy anytime you go flying, listen to the flight attendant when they say, put the oxygen mask on yourself first before assisting others. So that's the
Yeah,
way I have to live my life. That's the way I encourage everyone to live their life. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first
yeah.
before assisting others. Simple as that.
Uh, wow, that's advice for life. Boss question. A lot of times people have the CEO mentality. They say, I'm the top of my hill. But all CEOs, all good CEOs have a board of trustees. What does your board of trustees look like now? Who's on your team? Who do you text when things go good, go bad? What's it look like?
Uh, I got to keep it home, man. My grandfather, who's 97 years old, he's the only grandparent that has seen me wrestle live, whether it was in front of 50 people or 20,000 people with WWE.
Yeah.
So I always ask him, and 97 years old, he's sharp as a knife. I ask him the same question a lot, and he always answers it the same way. I said, Pop, 97 years old, if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say? Be cool and don't be no fool. Simple as that. You know what I mean? 97 years old, when something goes wrong, someone cuts me off, let them go. Why am I going to get all frustrated?
Yeah.
Time isn't on our side. Time don't like us. Time is just not on our side. So to stress about someone cutting you off, to stress about someone saying hateful things to you on social media, stuff like that, you just can't control. You can't please everyone, but you can definitely please yourself and your inner circle. I keep it tight. My mom is my soundboard, my grandfather. I've got uncles and aunts that support me so much in everything I do. And that's very important. Not only to have that support system to kind of lead you to the promised land, me is having the strong open weight championship.
Yeah.
When things went crazy with the pandemic and New Japan reached out to me, I said to them, let me get back to you. This was back in 2020 when everything was chaotic. And my family blessed me with the opportunity to go for New Japan. They
Yeah.
said, well, New Japan is following all the COVID protocols, go for it. And if it wasn't for my family saying, go for it, I wouldn't be holding the Strong Openweight championship. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on my inner circle.
Inspiring. That's the way to say it, man. August 21st, the Vermont Hollywood, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. Champ, you have the 10 pounds. It's on your shoulder. The world's looking at you right now. If there's a chance that you want to be able to show what that title represents, a chance to really add the prestige, what are you looking to accomplish with your run right now?
Well, first, I'm putting zero pressure on myself. I remember New Japan asked me recently because we were doing a show. Where were we? We were Charlotte and then Nashville. I remember New Japan asked me, "Oh, we're gonna do Nashville. We're gonna fly you back home and then fly you back out for Charlotte." Or I think it was Charlotte and then fly me back. I forget which one.
Yeah.
Nashville, Charlotte, Charlotte, Nashville. But New Japan wanted to fly me back home, and some of the other wrestlers, like the Young Lions, were gonna stay in Charlotte and then drive to Nashville. And it was me saying to New Japan, don't treat me differently. Keep me in Charlotte. Let me stay with the Young Lions. Don't treat me any differently. I don't want special treatment. I didn't get special treatment before the title. I don't want special treatment now. And for me, what's gotten me this far is putting God first. And I'm not a religious person, but I am spiritual. I do believe that there's a higher power somewhere out there, up there, and I believe in putting God first and putting my mom second. So it's as simple as that. I practice what I preach. I try to be positive as much as possible with all the craziness going on in the world. I try to be as positive as I can be.
Yeah, my mom said something similar. She's devout, more devout than I am, but she would say, "If you've done your best, angels can't do more." So I'm totally the positive
Love
outlook.
it.
Just give 100%. Fred Ross or Mr. No Days Off, thank you so much for just hitting here, rapping with us. Now it's time to put yourself over. Shows this weekend. The champ is in the building. Give it to me. Let me know.
The champ is in the building, and I'm taking on LA native TJP. And I have so much respect for him. He's a New Japan Young Lion original, LA Dojo original. And I just want to say that if he decides to fly on me, I will swat him out the air like a fly. If he decides to out wrestle me, I will do my damnedest to put all of this 240 pounds into his ass. And if he wants to outstrike me, boy, you better give me your best shot, TJP, because it's time to go to work.
Oh man, can't wait. Thanks, champ.
Thank you, sir. Block the hate, baby.